Welcome to the Anxiety Connection. If you've ever struggled with anxiety and are ready to finally get some answers, you've come to the right place. Hi, my name is Wendy Leeds, and I've suffered with anxiety my entire life. Thankfully, I'm also a psychotherapist, and over the years, I've learned a lot about anxiety, where it comes from, and how to manage it. That's what this podcast is all about. So, let's grab a cup of tea and talk about it. No matter how you push the envelope, it will still be stationary. I'm sorry. Are you laughing? If not, that's okay. Everyone has a different sense of humor. What's really important is that we find a way to include laughter in our lives as much as possible. Laughter is like medicine for the soul. If, like me, you're anxious, I think you'd be surprised at how healing a good laugh can be. As I mentioned in a recent podcast on the body anxiety connection, laughter is an incredible tool for relaxing the body. Laughter brings hope and sunshine into the darkest corners of our lives. You know, anxiety lives and thrives in those dark corners. And when you lighten up the dark places with laughter, you chase out the anxiety and you leave it no place to creep back to and hide. Best of all, laughter can interrupt those endless loops of negative thinking that can literally trap us in anxiety. I was recently talking to a really, really wise friend. Actually, let's be honest, I was complaining to my really wise friend about how tough things have been recently for me and for everyone as we continue to deal with COVID and we struggle with life in general. It's not just COVID, it's everything. I was going on in great detail about all the things I'd done to feel better that hadn't worked and all the things I couldn't do anymore because of all the changes we've been going through. All the places and events have been closed and canceled. And I told her I just felt defeated, lost, and I was just plain out of options. Maybe you can identify this has been such a tough time for all of us. Anyway, you know what my friend said? She said, gee, Wendy, you need to stop focusing on the negative and for heaven's sakes, lighten up. Go find something to laugh about. I have to tell you, the words weren't out of her mouth when I realized she was right. Boy, was she right. I did need to stop whining. Actually, that's my word, not hers. She was nicer. I did need to lighten up and start finding things to laugh about, starting with my own very dramatic, grumpy tale of gloom and doom. Because I don't know about you, but I can be a touch dramatic, and I see some smiles of the people around me. I can be very dramatic when I wallow. In fact, I've been known to take a teeny tiny molehill of negative thinking and turn it into a mountain range of catastrophe and disaster. I can get into a really destructive loop of negative thinking. Things are awful. Things are always going to be awful. This is never going to get better. I think the same thoughts over and over. And maybe you do too. Maybe you've been going through something like that a lot recently. And maybe you're just feeling that way right this minute. If so, if you suffer from that loop of negative thinking, if you're feeling overwhelmed and just like you're out of options, you've come to the right place. First of all, I want you to know you're not alone. We're in this together. And more importantly, today we're going to tackle this negative loop together. And hopefully hopefully we're going to share a few laughs along the way, because today is all about laughter. Now, if you've been listening to the Anxiety Connection, and I hope you have, you know I love to laugh. And I'm no stranger to the idea of using laughter to use my anxiety. But what I'd lost sight of was the fact that I don't have to wait for something funny to come and find me. I have to, or I can, go out at any time and find all sorts of wonderful things that can make me laugh. And to be honest, I have written a book on anxiety called Common Sense, A Woman's Guide to Living an Anxiety-Free Life, which is about to be released. If you want to get your copy, go to wendyleeds.com, get on the wait list. Anyway, this is a little embarrassing to admit, but guess what? There's a chapter in that book called, wait for it, laughter. I'd written a whole chapter on laughing, but what I'd forgotten was that we can use laughter on purpose, and it can be a really powerful way to interrupt that loop of negative thinking, as well as lightening our mood, relaxing our bodies, and making us feel better. Humor is a powerful healing tool. All right, so maybe you're thinking, Wendy, this laughter thing isn't going to work for me. First of all, I've been told, or I believe, I don't have much of a sense of humor, or I really don't feel much like laughing these days. But I believe that there are ways to make laughter available to everyone. Humor isn't something you have or you don't have. It's not some mystical process or something that happens by chance. It's like so many other things in life. Humor is something you can learn and you get better at by practicing. The trick here is to start small. If a belly laugh is out of the question, that's okay. I get it. No worries. Let's start with a smile, which is easier to do and just as effective. All right. Maybe you don't have the energy to even fake a smile. That's okay too. I have a no-fail trick guaranteed to make you smile no matter how you feel. Grab a pencil or a pen and gently place it between your teeth. And if you don't have a pen or a pencil handy, you can use your index finger instead if you're driving or walking, although, in public you may want to do it later. Anyway, if it's safe for you to do so, go ahead and put your pen, your pencil, or your finger between your teeth. Go ahead. I promise you, this is going to make you smile. Have you done it? See? And as your lips lift, notice how your body relaxes, and maybe you feel your spirits lift a little too. And here's the great news. You can keep that good feeling going by smiling throughout the day as often as possible. The more you practice, the easier smiling gets. And if you're willing to share that beautiful, magnificent smile of yours with the people around you, they may smile back, which is a great bonus because your smile, any smile, connects you with the people around you without having to say a word. It's a universal language we can always use, even in the isolation and depths of a pandemic. Even to people, we can use it even and share with people we see at a distance. And you never know what a gift your smile could be to someone else who's going through a hard time. A friend of mine shared this amazing story of a power of a single smile in her life. Years ago, she was working in a place where she believed no one liked her. No one ever spoke to her, and that really made her feel unwelcome. Well, one day, she was at work and she thought to herself, I am so tired of being unhappy. Maybe if I just smile. So The next time she headed to the other side of the building on an errand, she plastered a smile on her face and shared it with everyone she saw. To her amazement, three who had never spoken to her, all said hi. 3 people. What a difference a single smile can make in your lives and in the lives of people around you. For goodness sake, start smiling. Now, laughter. Laughter is a smile on steroids. It can boost your mood and boost your immune system. It eases tension, and best of all, it helps soothe anxiety. Just like with a smile, laughter connects you with others. And it's actually better as a shared experience. We love to laugh together. Laughter is contagious, which is why we have those sitcom laugh tracks to encourage you to laugh along. It's just more fun to laugh together. So let me ask you, since we're laughing together today, what books, what movies, what makes you laugh? What YouTube videos? Is there a comedian who cracks you up? Is there a friend who just knows how to tell a joke? For me, the movie What About Bob, which is about a therapy, so this makes sense, that movie always, guaranteed, makes me laugh. Also for me, spending time with little children is such a joy and a delight, and it almost always makes me laugh out loud. All that energy, enthusiasm is so infectious. And have you ever heard a 2.5-year-old say, spaghetti, helicopter, or paleontologist? I just start laughing. Have you ever seen a 2-year-old eat spaghetti or anything with chocolate frosting? Are you at least smiling? And maybe you have a great little kid story of your own that is a laugh out loud, funny anecdote. If you're thinking about it, let's remember and have a laugh together. Kids are funny. And if you can't find anything to laugh at in the moment, it's a really powerful tool to be able to go back to that memory, anything that brings a smile to your face. For me, the memories of all our dogs through the years as puppies always makes me smile. For a friend, remembering 2 hours she spent playing with 10 puppies who were all up for adoption in an outdoor puppy pen. She said afterwards, after those 2 hours, it felt like someone had cleaned her soul. And as an aside, all those puppies were adopted that afternoon, but not all by her. That's what she says. So maybe you already have a list of things that you know will make you laugh out loud. Good for you. Why not include as many of those things in your life over the next few days as possible? The more, the merrier, literally. See how many things you can come up with during your day that tickle your funny bone. We are all about finding the funny here. But, maybe you're not coming up with much to laugh at. And that's okay too. Why not spend some time over the next few weeks looking for things that make you smile, make you giggle, make you laugh, make you howl? Make it a daily treasure hunt, because the things that make you laugh are literally treasures in your life, especially when we're going through tough times like this. All right. I am going to attempt to tell you another joke. I'm warning you. Okay. Did you hear about the explosion in the cheese factory? Nothing left but debris. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. I won't do that again. I'm sorry. One important thing you can do to ease your stress, lower your anxiety, and connect with the people around you is to be willing to laugh at yourself. After all, we're all human. We all make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. I'm going to make mistakes. The secret is to make light of them, to joke about them, and to laugh them off. And let me share an embarrassing example from my very own imperfect life. A few days ago, I was going into a hospital lobby when I was asked to stop, sign in, disinfect my hands, take off my old mask, and put on a new one. I did as I asked. I took off my old mask. I took the new mask and proceeded to put it on upside down and backwards. I'm sure it looked hilarious. And I knew right away I'd done it wrong. Have to admit, I felt a little foolish at really not being able to put a mask on the right way. You'd think that would be a skill we had all mastered, but apparently not. Anyway, instead of trying to pretend that it hadn't happened, instead of berating myself for being such an idiot, I stopped, turned the mask right side up in, made it right, and I laughed. The woman at the desk laughed with me, and the people around us smiled. And we all shared a moment of understanding, of being connected, of people who make mistakes. Being able to laugh at that mistake allowed me to create a connection with the people around me, shrug off what was an awkward moment without feeling like a complete moron, and move on. I've shared it with you, but it's not something I'm going to dwell on. I think I might have if I hadn't been able to laugh. Now, before I go any further, I just want to stop and make one thing really, really clear. I was not laughing at myself. Healthy, healing laughter is never, ever mean, insulting, or at anyone's expense, especially mine or yours. It's not laughing at ourselves. And I just realized I need to change my language about this. I'm talking about laughing with ourselves and with others. This is about laughing together at our humanness, our imperfections, at all our silly mistakes, and our less than silly failures. And if you're a regular listener to the Anxiety Connection, you know I am struggling to let go of my need to be perfect. And laughter is really, really helping me to do that. So let me ask you, if we could go through life knowing we could always laugh away our mistakes, do you think that might make a difference? I just love this idea. I'm thinking it would be like going through life with a big, fat, pink eraser you can use to erase any mistake you might make. And wouldn't that make things so much easier, knowing you had the power not to be perfect and still to be okay? I think laughter gives us that power. Laughter is like a big pink eraser that we can use to free us from the need to be perfect. We just laugh it off. So let's agree from here on in, we're going to take ourselves a little less seriously and give up the need to always get the mask right side up and right side out. Sometimes upside down happens and it's good enough, and we're going to laugh at it. Humor is such a powerful tool. Wouldn't it be great if we could just laugh anytime we got stuck in the things are awful, I don't know what to do to feel better loop of thinking? If we didn't have to go out and find something to laugh at, if we could just laugh anytime we wanted to, whether we felt like laughing or not. Well, guess what? I have something that does just that. Today, I'm going to share with you my own version of techniques I've taken right from laughter yoga. And laughter yoga is really what I'm talking about here. Laughter yoga is the idea of laughing on purpose. And it's based on the idea that any kind of laughter has the same kind of effect on your body, your mind, and your spirit. Spontaneous laughter, which is what we usually think about, or forced or creative laughter, laughter that we just force or create on our own. because no matter what causes you to laugh, the effect is the same. And the great thing about laughter yoga is that you don't have to look outside yourself for something funny to laugh at. You get to create your own laugh anytime you feel like it. So we're going to do this together today, and I hope you'll join in. But before we get started, let me warn you, this looks silly, sounds silly, and feels silly, which can make it uncomfortable and risky, especially for the more adult of us. If you're like me, I'm always thinking I'm a grown-up, serious job, some very unfunny responsibilities. We want people to take us seriously, and that means we really feel like we can't afford to look or act foolishly. But to all the serious adults, to all we serious adults, here's the truth. We're the ones who need silly the most. So I'm urging you, try this with me in private or do it later, but do it. And before we get started, I also wanted to admit I'm a little uncomfortable doing this too. But I think we owe it to the fun-loving, joyous children we once were, and the spirit of those children who still live inside our very grown-up selves. I know they're in there, and so do you. All right, so we're going to do this together. We're going to start by taking a long, deep breath in. Exhale. And let your shoulders go. All right. Now, if it's safe for you to do so, if you're not driving and your hands are free, what we're going to do is we're going to lift our hands into the air and we're going to yell out loud as if we're laughing really loud. Ha, 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 ha. Do it until you run out of breath. All right. Whether you laugh or not, just a ha-ha is giving you the same benefits of laughter. All right. Now clap your hands in front of you and yell with me. And if you're alone, really go for it. Hee, 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 hee. Okay. Shake your hands out to your side and yell, hi, 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 hi. And finally, flap your arms up and down at your sides like you're a bird in flight. And repeat with me. Ho, 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 ho. Keep hoing as you imagine that you're flying off into the distance. Ho. Okay. Now give yourself a big round of applause for doing such a good job. You can do this as often as you want, anywhere you want. And what if you did it with your friends and family? I bet this would be way more fun doing it together with other people. Do you think it might be something you could do to ease tension in a relationship, or maybe open up lines of communication that have been closed? Such a powerful way to make yourself laugh and to communicate with the people around you. So I hope you'll give it a try. If you're stuck in that negative loop of unhappy thinking, if you're worn out, struggling to find a way through this really tough time, whatever it is you're going through, COVID, divorce, loss, grief, there's so many difficult things. No matter how tough the time, I suggest we all consider adding some humor to our lives. Start looking for things that make you laugh. Even the smallest laugh can make such a difference. And add as many possible into your daily routine. Practice smiling at everyone you meet. Share the love, share the joy. Relive a funny moment. Tell a joke. Laugh with yourself. Laugh with others. Laugh as often as you can. And if all else fails, just wave your hands in the air and yell, ha, 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 and see what happens in a serious meeting. All right. Here's the deal. You can't change what's happening to you We can't change what's happening around us, but what we can change is how we choose to deal with it. And in this tough time, we all need all the support and help we can get. I talk about laughter in my book, Common Sense, but I have so many other tools and techniques that you can use to get you through these tough times. There are so many. I try and talk about them as often as I can here, but there are just too many to get into the podcast. Things like the best acupressure points to use to ease anxiety, ways to eat to reduce stress, just so many things, and so important at any time. But in tough times like this, I just want everyone to get their copy. I'm going to keep mine by my bed. Anyway, the book is coming out soon. And if you want to be sure you get your copy, go to my website, wendyleeds.com, and get on the wait list. If by the time you hear this podcast, the book is out, good for you. You can go and have your copy this afternoon. No waiting for you. Aren't you smart? I'll be sure to include the link to Wendy Leeds in the show notes. I am so glad you joined us today. And if you want to be a part of the Anxiety Connection, I hope you'll subscribe. And until we're together again, I hope you'll laugh, because here's the truth. He who laughs last. Until we're together again, I wish you peace, joy, and love.